Okay, good afternoon everyone. Myself Harpreet Singh and I will be teaching structure analysis. In the last video lecture, I have discussed what is the basic introductory class for structure analysis and discussed some basic definition of structure, what are the basic elements of a structure and types of structure, and the topic was further carried over into the support reaction. What are the basic support reactions on different support? And I have discussed in one dimension, which is two-dimensional support reaction. So I will be continuing this lecture from 3D support reaction. In the last lecture, 2D support reaction was finished. So I will be starting here in this lecture from 3D support reaction. So in 3D 3D support reaction, fixed support. So in fixed support, it is also known as built-in supports, and the number of reaction in a fixed support in three-dimensional number of reactions in fixed support in 3D, it is equals to 6. And what are they? Three reactions. Three reactions are Rx in x direction, Ry in y direction, and Rz in z direction, and three moment reaction. Three moment reactions, and they are Mx, My, and Mz. So in a fixed support, the number of reactions, support reactions, there are basically 6, and these are Rx, Ry, Rz, and three moment reaction Mx, My, and Mz. Similarly, another type of support, hinge support. In hinge support, this support is also known as ball and socket joint support. Ball and socket joint support, and there are only number of reactions in hinge support in 3D are 3. And what are they? Rx, Ry, and Rz. Okay. And lastly, roller support. In case of roller support, the number of reactions are equals to number of support reactions are equals to 1. In both two-dimensional as well as in three-dimensional, number of support reaction in case of a roller support is 1, which is, and that reaction is perpendicular to contact surface. Perpendicular to contact surface. Okay. So these are the basic support reactions in both two-dimensional and three-dimensional I have discussed here, and these are the three-dimensional number of reactions. So now the next topic will be what are the basic types of load which acts on a structure. So the next heading is type of loading. Types of loading. So the first type of loading is point load, or we can say that concentrated load. Since this load generally acts at a particular point, so this load is known as point load, or a fixed load, or a concentrated load which is acting at a particular point. And it can be shown in figure. Suppose I am taking a simply supported beam with one end hinged and other end supported on a roller support. This is beam AB, and it is a simply supported beam So now a load P is acting on it, P1, and another load which is P2. So these two loads P1 and P2 are basically concentrated load or point load, and it's at a particular point, X at a particular point. Now the next type of load is distributed load. Distributed load, it basically in distributed load we can say that it's acts over some measurable area. It acts over some measurable area. Suppose again I am taking an example of a simply supported beam. So at one point in this distributed load, the load is distributed over some measurable area and it is non-uniform. It is non-uniform, and its intensity at one end is W1 and at other end is W dash, or we can say that W2, whatever. In any way we can represent in any form. So the load at one point is W1 and at other point is W2. So in this type of load we generally have to calculate intensity, or we can say that loading, which is acting per unit length, So in case of distributed load, we generally measure intensity or loading in the form of which is acting per unit length, or we can say that the load is W per unit length. If it is length is L meter and this is A. So on the basis of these two measurable distance, we can determine the intensity of loading which is acting on the simply supported beam. So this is basically the second type of the loading which acts on a structure. So it's acts over some measurable area. And now the third type of loading is UDL, or we can say that uniformly distributed load. In short form, we generally represent it as UDL. So UDL, or uniformly distributed load, is that type of load which acts uniformly over the entire area which it acts. So suppose this is a beam and a load is, so this is the load which is acting uniformly over, or it can be represented in this form also. So as it can be seen from the figure, that the load is of uniform intensity, from its one end to the other end. From its one end here to another end, it is acting uniformly. So these type of load are known as uniformly distributed load. So in this case of in case of UDL, intensity of loading is constant. Intensity of loading is constant throughout the area which is on which it acts. Now the next type of loading is UVL. Next type of loading is UVL. So the full form of UVL is uniformly varying load. Uniformly varying load. So in uniformly varying load, intensity at one end is different compared to the other end, but it is increasing or either decreasing at a uniform rate. So let's see in a form of figure. Suppose this is a simply supported beam and a load is acting on it in this form. So here support A, support B, this is C point at D. So intensity at C point is 0 compared to the other end, or at intensity at D end is W. So in uniformly varying load are those load where intensity either increasing or decreasing at a uniform rate. So these type of load are known as uniformly varying load. It could be intensity doesn't need to be 0 at one end. See here, it is W1, and see in second figure also this type of figure is also representing a uniformly varying load where intensity at one end is W1 and at other end is W2, and it is increasing at a uniform rate from one end to other. So these type of loads are known as uniformly varying load. Now the last type of load which acts on a structure is couple, and it is generally represented either in this form, whichever the direction the couple is acting. So this is basically a figure. This is representation how to draw a couple. So suppose this is a figure. At A point, couple M1 is acting. At B point, couple M2 is acting. This is support X and this is support Y. So couple is basically a representation of a resultant of. It is basically resultant of forces. It is basically a resultant of forces with resultant moment. So basically couple is basically a moment which is acting on a structure or a beam. So it is basically a resultant, or we can say that system of forces. If suppose their system of forces are acting on it, then it can be represented in the form of a it is not resultant, it is basically system of forces with resultant moment and but no resultant force. It is basically system of forces with resultant moment but no resultant force, and is called as, and it is known as couple. And the magnitude of couple magnitude of couple is basically equals to force times the force into force times the offset distance. It is basically, suppose here a load is acting P and the length of the beam is L. So the couple that acts here is basically P into L. So this is the magnitude of couple PL. So the magnitude of couple is equals to force times the offset distance. So these five are basically the types of load which acts on a structure. First is concentrated load, or we can say that point load. Second is distributed load, which is non-uniform. Third is uniform loading, uniformly distributed load, which is uniformly distributed over the area on which it is acting. And fourth one is uniformly varying load, which is varying or increasing or decreasing at a uniform rate. And the last is a couple. Couple is basically a system of force with resultant moment, but no resultant force. And that is known as couple. And its magnitude is equals to force times the offset distance. So these are the types of load which generally acts on a couple. So now moving on to the next part, and this is important for analyzing a structure. This is important for analyzing a structure. Why? And the heading is FBD. This is a short representation, or we can say that free body diagram. For easier understanding of a structure and to solve it conveniently, we generally draw free body diagram. And free body diagram is basically representation of external forces which are acting on a structure. And free body diagram can also be drawn of a subsection of a large structure. So it is not necessary that we have to draw the FBD of the whole structure, but it can also be drawn of the subsection of the large structure. So these two are the basic points, while some basic points are relevant to free body diagram. And there are certain steps for drawing a free body diagram. And what are they? Let me give you explain it through an example. Suppose I am taking example of a simply supported beam, and it is a determinate structure. Simply supported beam is determinate. Why? Two forces here at hinge support and one force at roller support. So number of equations for static equilibrium are 3. So 3 unknowns, 3 equations. So it is a determinate structure. Suppose two loads are acting on it, P1 and P2. P1 and P2. So for drawing a free body diagram, we generally, the first step is that we remove supports. This is A point and this is B point. We remove supports. Then we draw the forces, external forces which are acting on the structure, that is P1 and P2 at point C and D. Now the another step is that we have to draw number of support reactions which are acting on a particular support. Suppose, as it can be seen here, support A is hinge support and support B is roller support. So number of reaction which acts on a hinge support are vertical force, and another second is horizontal force, whereas number of support reactions which acts on a roller supports are only one, so which is VB, or we can say that vertical force at A and vertical force at B, and this is HA is horizontal force at A. So this figure here is FBD of simply supported beam that we are discussing here. So the basic step for drawing a FVD is that we have to remove the supports which are on which the structure is supported, and then draw the number of support reaction which generally acts at a particular support. Now moving on to I will be taking few example to explain free body diagram. Now I am taking another example. This is taking a second example, and let's take an example of a indeterminate structure or indeterminate beam, and this here is a propped cantilever beam with a concentrated load W1 and W2. This is point A, B, C and D. So point A, as we know that in propped cantilever, one end is fixed and other end is supported on a roller support. So to draw the FVD, what is the first basic step? We remove the supports. Here it is A point, C and D. So now draw the external loads which are acting on the propped cantilever, W1 and W2. Now see, A support is fixed support. So the number of reactions, support reaction which acts on a fixed supports are vertical force, horizontal force and a moment, MA. So the number of support reaction on a fixed supports are 3. What are they? VA, HA and MA. That is vertical force, horizontal force and moment. Now the other support is a roller support, and on roller support, both in 2-dimensional as well as in 3-dimensional, only one reaction is there, one support reaction is there, and which is perpendicular to the contact surface. So the perpendicular to the contact surface. So the number of support reactions here are 3, and at A support and B is 1. So this figure is the free body diagram for given beam. And this is how we have to solve. First step while this analyzing a structure is we have to draw the free body diagram, and after drawing the free body diagram we have to analyze, then we can analyze the structure or the particular problem that is assigned or given. Now I am taking an example of a frame. This is a frame, and both its supports A and B are at same level. Let's name them C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and 3 loads are acting on it at points C, G and K, P1, P2 and P3, and another load P4. Now we have to draw free body diagram for this frame. This is basically a revision for you also, that elements of a structure. This is a propped cantilever beam. And this is a frame. So to draw the free body diagram for this frame, let's draw it again. To draw the free body diagram for this frame, what is the first step? First step is that we have to remove supports. First step, is that I am removing supports okay. So external forces which are acting on its P1, P2, then we have to draw the external forces which are acting on the frame, and P4. Now the last step is that we have to draw the external support reactions, the support reaction which are acting on its joint A and at support A and support B. So one horizontal force as it is a fixed support, one vertical force and one moment MA. Similarly, at B, one horizontal, one vertical and one moment. So this is the free body diagram for the given frame. As it can be seen in the figure, 3 support reaction are acting at point A and 3 support reaction are acting at point B, as both the supports are fixed, and 4 external forces which are acting on the frame. So this is the free body diagram for the given structure. Now let's move on to the, I'm taking another example. So far I have drawn all the free body diagram for full structure. Now I will be discussing how to draw the free body diagram for section of a structure. Suppose this is a propped cantilever beam and on its one load is acting W. This is A point, C and B. Now we have to draw FBD of the section, and this is the section XX. So we have to draw the free body diagram for this figure. So how to draw? Let's see. Free body diagram for the given problem. So first, let's split the beam in two parts. Let's split the beam in two parts. One is AX and other is XB. Suppose this section that we have cut, it is XX, so I am taking it to be X, and other is XB. So the load is acting at point C. Load is acting at point C. Since the support A is a fixed support, so the number of support reaction in 2 dimensions are 3. So let's draw 3 support reaction for A, HA, VB and MA. Similarly, since the support B is roller, so only one support reaction is there, and that is VB, which is perpendicular to the contact surface. Now this free body diagram is still incomplete because we have to draw the external reactions or internal reactions which are acting at XX, which are acting at X. So what are these? This is HX, VX and MX. Similarly, we have to draw support reaction here also. This is HX and this VX and this is moment mx. Whenever we have to draw internal reactions at a particular section, then these forces, these reactions should be so that they are cancelling each other. See, h direction, hx force, horizontal force direction is away from here. Similarly, we have to draw hs direction in towards left, and vertical force is acting in upward direction at this point, and vertical forces, we have to draw vertical forces downward direction at this point. Moment at here is in clockwise direction, and moment at this point is anti-clockwise. So this is the free body diagram for the section of a structure. This is how we have to draw the free body diagram for a section of a structure. So similarly, we can draw free body diagram for frame also, or for a truss also. So for drawing a sectional free body diagram, we generally cut it and then draw three forces at that particular point, and at another point, at another section, at another part which we have cut, we have to draw all the three forces, but in the different opposite directions to the support reaction. Reactions we have drawn at different section, at the same section which we have cut. So in AX, this is the A part, and this is B part, and this is the FBD for the whole structure. Okay, so this is where we should stop, and I think I will be taking over from next topic, and which is external or internal stability of a structure. Thank you guys.